Damn it! Charlie hadn't expected Roman to pull a move like that to stop the video from going viral. He was seriously ticked off. After thinking for a moment, he took out his cell phone and called Stephen Thompson, who was all the way out in Eastcliff. If Isaac was just one of the many faces of the Wade family, then Stephen Thompson was their one and only steward. In other words, within the entire Wade family, he was second in command only to old Wade himself. As soon as the call connected, Stephen answered respectfully, "Hello, Mr. Wade. It's been a while since you've called." Charlie hummed in response. I'm calling because I need your help with something." Stephen quickly replied, "Mr. Wade, please. You're the young master of the Wade family, and I'm here to serve you. Just tell me what you need." Charlie said, "I need to know, what are FixTube's U.S. operations worth right now?" Stephen paused to think for a moment. Well, if you go by their public valuation, there's probably some inflated reporting in there. Their official number is around $130 billion. Charlie asked again, "And if we were to buy it outright, what would the actual price be?" Stephen Thompson replied, "For a straight buyout, you'd be looking at somewhere between 80 and 90 billion. Charlie asked, "Can you buy FixTube's U.S. operations for me?" "Yes," Stephen said without hesitation. "Mr. Wade, just give me a moment. I'll have my people contact the CEO of FixTube. I'm certain he won't refuse an offer from the Wade family." Charlie thought to himself that as soon as the company was his, he would pin that stand-up routine to the homepage of every single FixTube user in the country. The moment they opened the app, it would be the first thing they saw. The Wells family wanted the video deleted? Too bad. He went and bought the entire video company. Now, how were they supposed to take it down? At that moment, Roman Wells had no idea that Charlie had already begun the process of buying FixTube's U.S. operations. He frantically refreshed the social media site several times and finally let out a sigh of relief when he saw that the stand-up comedy video was gone. However, his rage toward Finian and Gage Harrison hadn't faded one bit. He went over the details in his mind. Gage had the words "poor hanging" carved into his forehead a while ago. He knew that. But Finian's forehead had been clear before. When Roman saw him earlier today, there was nothing there. In other words, this video must have been filmed after Kian was defeated and left for dead by Charlie. On top of that, in the video, the father and son's laughter looked more painful than tears. It had to be that someone threatened them into filming that stand-up comedy routine. So who could have threatened them? It seemed like there was only one possibility. Charlie. Thinking of this, Roman Wells gritted his teeth in fury. "Charlie Wade, I swear I'll kill you one day. Otherwise, I'm a nobody." Just when Roman finally breathed a sigh of relief because the social media video was deleted, he had no idea that the social media platform had already closed a deal with the Wade family in Eastcliff. The Wade family of Eastcliff acquired FixTube U.S. operations outright for $85 billion. Before this news was even released, the Wade family had already begun to take over the social media platform's operations. The first thing they did was restore Gage Harrison's deleted account, along with the deleted viral video. Immediately after, their technicians configured the settings so that every single user across the country would see that stand-up routine on their home screen the moment they opened the app. Roman had no idea that things had taken a complete 180-degree turn. While he was waiting for the helicopter to arrive, he suddenly got another call from Rowan. Rowan yelled frantically into the phone. "Dad, what's going on? Why is that stand-up routine the first thing you see when you open the app? The number of likes is already over 2 million. I asked a bunch of people, and when they open the app, that's the first thing they see." "What?" Roman exclaimed, then blurted out, "Are you sure? I just spent 70 million to fix this problem. There's no reason for it to be back up again." Roman said confidently, "Of course I'm sure. I saw it myself. As long as you open the app, it's that routine. I also asked several other people, and their app is doing the same thing. Dad, what are we going to do now?" Roman, his face dark with anger, said, "Let me see what's going on." After speaking, he immediately hung up and told Bradley to open the social media app. It was true. As soon as the app launched, the stand-up routine by Finian and Gage started playing by default. He was so furious that he immediately called his public relations contact. "Are you messing with me? How is that video back up again, and it's the default for all users? The man on the other end said awkwardly, "Oh, Mr. Wells, I just got the news. You can't blame me for this. The main reason is that the Wade family from Eastcliff just bought the social media platform and paid $85 billion in cash. The owner didn't even hesitate. He just sold it." "What are you talking about?" Roman went ballistic. "The Wade family bought the whole social media platform?" "That's right," the man said. "Just a little while ago, they contacted the owner directly and made a cash offer for the local operations. The guy agreed without a second thought. You know how the economy is right now. Founders are just looking to cash out. At a price that high, paid in one lump sum, there was no way he was going to resist." He quickly added, "Sir, don't be angry. The $70 million, I'll have our finance department wire it right back to you." "I'm really sorry about this, but there's nothing I can do." Roman was shocked. What was the Wade family's game plan? Why would a powerhouse family like them come after a smaller player like him? He hadn't really done anything to offend the Wade family. It was just 5 of his goons who hurt one of the Wade's employees at the Oris Grand. Was it really necessary to retaliate so aggressively? To make him look like a fool, they even bought the whole social media platform outright? Even now, Roman refused to believe that Charlie had anything to do with the Wade family from Eastcliff. In his mind, he instinctively felt that these were 2 completely separate issues. First, he had pissed off Charlie, who then hurt his men and recorded that stand-up comedy routine with Finian and Gage. Second, his men had offended the Wade family, and the Wades were fiercely protective of their own. From Isaac all the way up to the Wade family, they had all started coming after him. It had to be a coincidence that these 2 things happened at the same time. It must be that the Wade family saw the video and wanted to use it to humiliate the Wells family. But when they found out his crisis PR team had gotten it deleted, they just went and bought the entire social media company to put it back up. $85 billion in cash. Only they could pull something like that off. That kind of boldness really showed they were a top-tier family. Even though the Wells family's assets are worth around $200 billion, their actual cash on hand is pretty low, less than $10 billion at most. It's like any household. If a family has $2 million in assets, that doesn't mean they have $2 million in cash. Their house might be worth $1.3 million, a car another $200,000, with various other things making up another $200,000. That leaves only $200,000 in actual cash. It all adds up to $2 million in assets, but only a fraction of it is liquid. So, even though the Wells family has a net worth of $200 billion, the amount they actually have in cash is a small fraction of that. If they wanted to buy a social media company for $85 billion, they'd have to liquidate almost half of their assets. But the Wade family is a completely different story. Nobody knows exactly how much the Wade family is worth or how much cash they have. All anyone knows is that they throw around huge amounts of money like it's nothing. Grand Group for $100 billion? Bought. Just like that. The notifications section for $85 billion? Done. Without a second thought. A chill ran down Roman's spine. The Wade family was willing to spend that kind of money just to mess with the Wells family. Did that mean they were planning to fight them to the bitter end? If that was the case, was the Wells family completely doomed? Just as he was starting to panic, a roar echoed from the sky, growing louder by the second. The helicopter his father had arranged was here. It was a heavy civilian helicopter with a large fuselage, big enough for at least 10 people. This time, it wasn't just coming for Roman and his son. It was also taking Keon Marsh's 5 useless men. Roman watched the helicopter hover overhead and begin its slow descent. His pounding heart calmed down just a little. For him, the most important thing right now was getting home in one piece. He could figure out the bigger problems later, once he was safely home. Just then, Isaac stepped out of the Oris Grand. Behind him stood dozens of bodyguards in black suits, their faces cold and murderous. Roman froze, a tremor of fear shooting through him at the sight. He first thought the Wade family didn't really want to go to war with the Wells family, and that Isaac was probably just overstepping his authority. But when he heard that the Wade family had bought the social media platform outright, he realized this wasn't just Isaac acting on his own. The entire Wade family was coming after the Wells family. That's why he was so panicked, limping over to meet him. He bowed his head and said, "Mr. Isaac, we'll get out of your way. We won't take up any more of your time. Please, forgive me." And I'm begging you, please put in a good word for us with the Wade family. Everything, every single mistake, it's all our fault. The Wells family will go to Eastcliff to apologize in person in a few days. Please, ask the Wade family to be the bigger person. Don't bother with a wreck of a family like ours. Roman was truly terrified. The Wade family had just spent $85 billion on a social media company just to humiliate the Wells family with a video. If the Wade family really wanted to crush the Wells family, he couldn't even imagine what terrifying power they would use to do it. Isaac stared coldly at Roman and said with contempt, "You think you're worthy of apologizing to the Wade family? Take a good look at yourself. You're nothing." Roman's face instantly turned bright red. He was right. I don't deserve to set foot in the Wade family's home. Then Isaac shouted in a cold voice, "Get that helicopter of yours away from me! Don't even think about landing it on my Oris Grand property. Otherwise, I'll have it taken apart piece by piece. And then I'll do the same to you and your son's remaining good limbs." Roman was about to have a meltdown. The helicopter was already hovering overhead. If it could just land, the crew would load him, his son, and those 5 useless bodies onto the chopper. They could be in the air in less than 10 minutes heading back home. But Isaac wasn't even willing to grant him that small favor. He couldn't help but beg, "Mr. Isaac, don't you think my son and I have suffered enough? Please, give us a break and let us get on the plane. The Wells family will be forever in your debt." Isaac scoffed. "Get on my good side? Have you taken a good look at yourself in the mirror? Do you really think you're worth my time?" After he spoke, Isaac waved his hand dismissively. "I've already made myself clear. The second that plane touches down, I'll have the pilot dragged out and his leg broken. You can forget about the plane. Or do you and your son want to lose your other legs too?" Roman was desperate. He knew that with Isaac's firm stance, there was no way he'd be shown any mercy, so he could only sigh and said with tears in his eyes, "Mr. Isaac, please wait a moment. I'll call the pilot." As he spoke, he limped to the side and called the pilot from the private aviation company. The pilot answered his call and said hurriedly, "Hello, Mr. Wells. I'm ready to land now." "Please wait a moment," Roman quickly said. "Don't land. The Oris Grand won't let the plane land here." Then he quickly asked, "Is there anywhere else nearby to land? My son and I have bad legs, so we can't be too far." The pilot said awkwardly, "Mr. Wells, we're right in the city. The only places I can land are the plaza in front of the Oris Grand or the helipad on top of the Oris Grand." "Neither of those will work," Roman said. "You have to stay away from the Oris Grand's property." The pilot replied, Well, there's an elementary school about 2 miles away. We can request permission to land on its playground. That's the closest spot." 2 miles? Roman hesitated. Both he and his son were injured, their right legs completely useless. They couldn't even drive. "Isn't that too far to walk? Besides, we've got these 5 dead dogs to carry." With that in mind, he quickly asked, "How many people are on your plane?" 3. Roman quickly said, "All right, look, I'll give you $10,000 a head. Once you land at the elementary school, just grab a cab and come get us. There are 7 of us, and we're not exactly in walking shape." The person on the other end thought for a moment and said, "Okay, Mr. Wells, hang tight. We'll come get you after we land." The helicopter hovered overhead for a second, then climbed and flew away. Roman wiped away his tears and said to Isaac, "Mr. Isaac, are you satisfied now?" Isaac looked at him with disgust. "Get your son and get out of my sight. Don't ever buzz around me like a fly again." With that, Isaac turned and left. Roman crumpled to the ground, burying his face in his hands and crying silently. The reputation he'd built his entire life had been utterly destroyed today. What the hell was the point of living anymore? The worst part was, How could he ever get back at the Wade family? Even with a hatred as deep as the ocean, there was no way to get revenge. Could anything be more painful than this? Oh, wait. Yes, there was. Over in his notifications section, the stand-up comedy routine with the Harrison family was still going viral. The video had already racked up over 3 million likes, and it was everywhere on the internet. 10 minutes later, 2 helicopter pilots and a mechanic finally showed up in a cab. To Roman, it was like seeing his saviors. The crew helped him and his son Bradley into the car first, followed by the 5 men who were out cold. The driver took them to a school playground where the helicopter was waiting. The crew managed to get all 7 of them onto the helicopter. Then, the helicopter lifted off into the darkness, speeding towards home. When the Wells men, father and son, had arrived in Oris Hill, they came in on a private jet. They had been arrogant and made a huge show of their arrival. But who could have imagined they'd be leaving with broken bones, completely humiliated, like beaten dogs with their tails between their legs? Inside the helicopter's cabin, Roman and Bradley, father and son, held each other and cried as they watched the sparkling lights of Oris Hill disappear below. Neither of them had ever imagined their trip to Oris Hill would end in such a disaster. They cried for a long time before finally getting a grip on their emotions. Bradley clutched his broken hand, his voice filled with rage. "Dad, I don't get it. That loser Charlie is just a house husband for some no-name family. How is he so strong? Keon Marsh and his 4 guys were no match for him at all." He continued angrily, "And I don't know. I just have this feeling. The Wade family isn't coming after us just because that worthless Keon hurt the staff at the Oris Grand. It feels like they're actually helping Charlie." Roman's face was pale. "You're overthinking it," he said. "Charlie is just a house husband who happens to be a good fighter. Maybe he trained with some expert, but there's absolutely no way he's connected to the Wade family." Bradley shot back. Then why did the Wade family help him? And they both have the same last name, Wade. Could they be distant relatives?" Roman shook his head and said, "Do you see how the Wade family protects their own? Even their security guards and lobby managers won't let anyone bully them, and they're willing to cut ties with the Wells family over it. If Charlie really was a distant relative of the Wade family, how could they just sit back and watch him be a house husband in Oris Hill?" Then Roman added, "I heard this Charlie was completely humiliated by his wife's family. The key point is that his wife's family isn't even a third-rate family. If he were really a distant relative of the Wade family, they would have stepped in a long time ago and put his wife's family in their place." Speaking of this, Roman regretted his past decisions and blurted out, "If I had known Charlie was so strong, I would have just sent a dozen or 20 experts to kill him right then and there. It would have been over and done with. We wouldn't have all these troubles now." When he mentioned Charlie, Bradley felt a bitter taste in his mouth. He quickly asked, "Dad, what are we going to do about Charlie now? Everything that happened today is because of that guy. If he hadn't taken out Keon and his useless crew, we wouldn't have pissed off Isaac, and we wouldn't have offended the Wade family either. We can't let him get away with this." Roman said coldly, "The situation right now is not in our favor. It's not a smart move to go after Charlie. When we get back to Savannah, we'll keep a low profile for a while, wait for things to blow over, and then we can think about a long-term plan." Bradley was shocked and blurted out, "Charlie ruined the Wells family's reputation in front of the whole country, and you want to just let it go?" Roman replied with a cold expression, "How could we let it go? Anyone who dares to offend our family must pay with their life. We have to deal with Charlie for what he's done to our family's dignity. I'll make him pay for his actions. I'll make sure he dies without even a place to be buried."